Serving Tampa Bay since 1954. The Heritage Station, WTM.
All right. It's that time again. Tampa Bay, the herd has arrived.
Live.
We're here. I know. Probably last week's show, we probably had the biggest listening audience we've had since we've been here at TMP because of a number of different factors. Porch Talk Radio has been around for 10 years. But part of what happened last week was we went back to our roots. When we first started, we started the program at the Black Heritage Festival downtown Tampa. I think we did one show, and then we was on the road doing the site at the Black Heritage Festival with the entertainment and folks walking around and all that stuff in the background. Well, last week we was on site again, and we was at Silas Green Park, Silas Green Community Park, and had agreed, knew we were gonna be there, but the circumstances and everything that was going on, we didn't know. So we kind of, when we got there, we saw what it was. So for those who thought you was tuned in to the wrong show last week, you were not. That was Andrew Gillum who started our show out. We kind of sat down, started the show, kind of got through our intros and our sponsors and gave out the information and stuff, and then Howard Word walked up and with Andrew Gillum and his people and said, do you want to interview? Can you interview? That's kind of how he put it. Can you interview? Well, of course we can, but what happened was, I told Andrew, I say, Andrew, this is probably not the kind of show you're used to doing. My audience is primarily conservative. It's probably half and half. I probably got as many white listeners as I do black listeners.
So you gave him fair warning.
And some of them probably just cut the radio on. It's not been on all day listening to all the chatter up to now. They probably just cut the radio on. And the fact that you are here goes probably against everything that we've been talking about.
Big time.
But I'm gonna get the show started here in a little bit. But I just wanted to let you guys know you tuned in at the right place, right time, right everything this week, and we're gonna start the show off by kind of doing a little recap of what happened last week. So without further ado, I guess I might as well go ahead and get this show,
get the business done,
Porch Talk Radio, established. So for those who want to call in to the show during the show, the call-in number here at WTMP is 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. For those who want to call me and talk to me after the show, sometime during the week, talk about some of the other stuff that we got going on, you can do that. I take those calls. You can text me. You can call me. Whatever you want to do. And Willie's not here to encourage folks to do it during the show. So
I'll pick up the slack. Come on, folks. We need your help.
So that's a good thing. So Eddie Adams' cell phone number, 813-230-3312. 813-230-3312. If you want to email me, Eddie, EDDIE, at porchtalkradio.com. And if you just want to communicate with us by email, porchtalkradio.com. And I must say, from time to time, we do get emails from folks, and primarily folks making comments about the show, and most of those have been good. So
very positive. So we're kicking tail.
So that's a good thing. Sponsorship. If you want to sponsor the show, give me a call. So the phone number that I just gave out. Sponsors, the Hillsborough County Republican Executive Committee, have been with us since the beginning, and it was their vision, how we got started, and as from time to time we do say we're preaching the gospel to heathens, and sometimes we say that, and don't take it the wrong way. What we're preaching is not for everybody, and
the truth is hard to handle for some, Eddie.
And you got to admit, when we first started this whole thing, there's no way we could have just started right here on TMP. It took us a few years to work up to TMP and to get you guys ready to hear what we have to say. Because so we started at GUL, and so we was at WGUL, which is a religious, primarily white station for a number of years. Then with the TBCN, which is Tampa Bay Community Network. That was at the mall. We did that for a few years. So we had the TV and radio show. And then we graduated. It took us, several years, 4 or 5 years to get to where we want to start. But like I say, we couldn't start straight with TMP. So sponsors, Todd Jones, property appraiser. Todd Jones ran for property appraiser. We met Todd Jones, became a good friend of the show and a good sponsor. Print Fast. John Desbrow has a car lot, sell cars. Any of your printing need, he can take care of. Just tell him Eddie sent you. 813-621-9444. 813-621-9444. That's John Desbrow. All right. J.A. Pressure Washing. And J.A. Pressure Washing actually got a video where I saw him doing some roofs. He was doing some concrete tile roofing, pressure washing people roofs. So that's another process that they got out there. So if you need your roof or your driveway, if you got a oil stained driveway, you got a filling station, a service station, any of those kind of opportunities out there, give them a call, 813-850-6849. 813-850-6849. Okay. Also, and I kind of talked about this last week, so it may have got caught in some of the background noise that was going on, but Sheer Excellence is a barbershop that where I go get my hair done, and a couple weeks ago I went in and they said they were going to cut the radio on so they could hear the show, because they like my barbershop spiel, because if you ever go to a black barbershop, you usually get caught up in all kind of conversations. It's kind of like doing a radio show. You talk about anything and everything, and they like a lot of stuff that I'm talking about, and they agree with me. Everybody don't have to agree with me, because whoever shows up at the barber shop when you walk in is who's there, but a lot of times they like what I'm talking about. So all the barbers and the customers at Sheer Excellence, glad to have you guys on board. They said they're going to cut the radio on Saturdays at 1 and listen to the show. All right. So what I was saying was, last week's show, it was difficult. It was difficult in that most of the people that we have on the show are people from the community, politicians, elected officials, people with thoughts and ideas of how we make this community better. And last week just didn't happen like that. We was on site. We was at Cyrus Green Community Center, and as I was saying, Andrew Gillum and his people. Because when you're an ex-governor, ex-gubernatorial candidate, and he has some power and some organization that he's working with, and they was
some fame at least
doing this tour of the state, and they was there. So I don't know whether he just arrived, when it was time for me to do my show, or he had been there and they were waiting. And again, I don't know what the scenario was, but we was on air. So I had already kicked off the show, and as I'm talking to you people, he was walking up and they were doing sign language and all kind of stuff, and So I'm trying to carry on a conversation with you and deal with them at the same time. So he kind of sat down, and I wanted to make sure that he understood that, you know,
We were not the Democrat hour?
it wasn't, and what we could not do, and I'm telling you guys because I had to tell some people this morning because they kind of jumped on me this morning. You know, like I turned coat, made something different.
Yeah.
You know what I said to the group this morning was that what me and Andrew agreed not to do was talk about politics. He's a conservative. He's a liberal, and I'm conservative. Democrats, Republican. We weren't going to get into that kind of stuff because I didn't see any kind of way where we can have a good, positive conversation.
Not at all.
So what we end up doing was having differences of opinion to the point to where I don't think that would have been entertaining. So what we did was, what I did was set the ground rule and say what we're going to do is talk about how we make the community better, which is important to me, and I think it's important to him, and I think it hasn't got to the point through politics where two black men can't sit down and talk about how we make this community better.
And I think, Eddie, you took the higher road by laying out the ground rules initially so that it wouldn't get into debates just because his cabinet's been crooked and they're going to jail and he's probably they're going to turn on him soon. That's just politics. But I did like the point that he brought up saying, hey, I want public officials to all be accountable. You people have no idea how I held my tongue on that one. Knowing the corruption's happened in his tenure as the city in Tallahassee and all the problems over there. But Eddie was good. He laid it out, very professional, took the higher road. We were no intention on being the Democrat hour, but we just happened to be in that environment, and they kept being set in front of us. We kept blasting them through, but we didn't agree with the majority of all of them that were there.
Well, like I say, all day Saturday, if you listen to TMP, and then a lot of you guys do listen,
Democrat hour, all day.
Do listen to shows starting at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock this morning, all the way to 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. And we are the only ones all day who do what we do.
Provide balance.
You know, we can't balance the whole day, but again,
a majority.
Just make sure that you have the information that's important and give you something to think about. Because again, at the end
make your own decision.
At the end of the day, you know, a lot of folks don't like my politics. Let me say that again.
No.
A lot of black folks.
Really?
We say black and white here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of black folks don't like my politics. But that don't make it less effective when you understand that there is another side to all of that. To all of that pablum poop, or whatever you want to call it, that you get. There's another side to it, and what we do is
being honest.
We try to balance it out and give you a little of the other side, and it may be hard for you to stomach some of the stuff that I talk about, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you what happens. A lot of folks in Tampa Bay respect me.
Absolutely.
That don't mean you gotta like me. That don't mean you gotta hate me. You know, but you respect me because at the end of the day, what I'm saying is stuff that I think you need to know, and it's stuff that's good for the community. It's good for the community to have a balanced community. It's good for the community to not be dependent upon handout. It's good for the community to not put your thoughts and best wishes in the hands of people who don't wish you good. I'm just telling you, sometimes we just don't know. We tend to put our faith in people who don't wish us no good.
And Eddie, you've been in this long enough, dealing with people in general in politics. You know that a lot of them say lots of things and they do nothing compared to what they said. And for all the people that voted Democrat for 50 years, 100 years, however long it's been, nothing really changed for that group of people. The financial situation for a lot of them has stayed the same. And right now, we can honestly look across and look at the minorities, say between the blacks, the Hispanics that have always listened to the Democrats and voted for them. How has that helped them? Not one damn bit.
Well, also,
just my thoughts.
I have taken a few calls this week also about Gabriel. I'm just putting it out there. You know, they say I let you get away with a lot of stuff, but what I tell folks, if Gabriel says something that you think is out of tune or out of cut, I'm telling you the same thing I told these people. Call in. This is the call-in show. It's a talk show. If you got something you want to chastise Gabriel about, and as those who are regular listeners know, if somebody that's a guest or somebody calling and got a problem with something Gabriel say, call him and let him know it. Because
Put
again,
your points out there and we'll talk. I don't have a problem with that. We're human beings here.
That's what it's all about. It's all about the conversation.
Having
it's
a conversation.
About talking. And
you don't like it? Why?
And my bag of goods and goodies and crap travel items is different from his. He comes from a different background than myself, and that's one of the things. That's one of the reasons we have other voices on the show other than just myself. Is so some people see stuff differently. Some people experiences are different. And again, when Gabriel is here, when Willie's here, I don't have a bunch of yes men sitting here, at the mic, at my beck and call, saying and repeating what I say. And I think they're...
Well, if you're right, you're right, Eddie. We got that. But some things we look side to side and go, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
And there we go.
It's an opportunity. So what we do here is we take the opportunity to add to the goodness
and make you think
and the qualities of the community, and even have programs which we don't mind leading. I don't mind jumping in front of some issues from time to time if I think it's something that's good for the community. And again, those who know me over the years, I'm a person who I'm gonna tell you what I think. So you can take it that way. You can leave it, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it. So I because I'm not a person that likes tasting my own blood. And over the years when I was working in corporate America, I spent a lot of time biting my tongue. And if you bite it hard enough, it'll bleed. So I didn't like the taste of my own blood, so I stopped biting my tongue. It's easier to say it and deal with it after the fight, than to bite my tongue and not say it.
There you go.
So those elected officials who have heard my wrath, I'll tell you what I think, and then, like I said, at the end of the day, you got the power to do what it is that you do. Do something. That's what I want to happen most of the time. Is I want you to do something. Don't just talk.
There
Show
you go.
up,
Action.
do something, make something happen.
Right.
So as I was saying, Andrew Gillum came through. Sky White came through.
Who the heck was she again?
She was running for county commissioner.
Oh,
and
good
she's
Lord.
a nurse.
Good Lord.
And then we had Frank Reddick came through. And a good friend of the show, Orlando Goose, came through.
Nice guy.
So for the hour, and like I said, we only had an hour.
We did a lot.
I hate to say it, but Andrew Gillum got comfortable.
You had to run them off.
Talking. So I knew, first of all, we only got an hour. Andrew got comfortable talking about how we were going to help the black community and some stuff he had going on and some stuff that we was doing. So not that I wanted to monopolize him and his time, but one of the reasons many of the black folks who was at the Silas Green Center, they were there to see and talk with him. So it looked like the Republicans got him back there to the table in the back of the room, and they monopolized him. So I didn't want, I know how black folks are. I know how y'all are. So I didn't want y'all saying, "Oh, the Republicans got Andrew Gillum back there in the back of the room," and they won't let him go. So so as soon as they start calling for him up front, I say, "Andrew, you may need to go." They calling for you up front, and it's a bunch of folks here to see you. So I let him go, and it was a good conversation for those who heard it, for those who appreciate what happened. Again, I appreciate it. Andrew Gillum is a high-profile Democrat for the state of Florida, and I'm a high-profile.
Doesn't help for one bit, but he's high-profile.
I'm a high-profile, black conservative Republican here.
Big time.
And we doing what we do. And he wanted to talk to my audience because he knew he had heard how big this audience is. So that's
we're still the number one show. What are you talking about?
So that's a kudos, not just to me, but it's kudos to you, here in Tampa Bay. And I say Tampa Bay because it's about not just Tampa, but St. Pete and Clearwater and folks around the area who can actually hear the show. And they call. Again, you guys call. We got a bunch of white folks who listen to the show, and again, me politically correct.
God bless them all.
Because Porch Talk Radio is a show for everybody. And again, even people who don't like the show, listen. I mean, that's kind of like back in the day when Muhammad Ali was heavyweight champion. All right, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Give us your name, where you calling from, and what say you. Hello?
Yes, Rollins. I'm calling out of Sarasota.
All right.
Wow, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Adams?
I'm doing excellent.
I've called you on a couple of occasions. Now, I wasn't going to say nothing, but you invited it.
Yes, sir.
So, and it's my opinion on. I think when you pushing the Republican Party ticket or whatever you sincerely believe, I think both of you believe in what you doing and why you support the Republican Party. However, I think Gabriel's a little malicious, and to be honest with you, I really don't think he cares too much for black folks. Some of the comments he made and some of the views he has, I don't think he really, it ain't a Republican or Democrat thing. I just really think he don't really care about black people. That's just my opinion, the way he makes me feel. And I said one time that I was going to stop listening to the radio show because of a comment he made, but then I said that wasn't fair because a lot of stuff that I hear come out of your mouth, I can use and learn from and get some good out of it. So I don't want to punish myself because of what somebody else say. So I listen to your show and take all the good and whatever out of that one, and Pete Elwood and Michelle Patty, who I love dearly, and the rest of them I listen to all. I look forward to Saturday, but I really don't think this brother really care about black people, and and I might be wrong, but that's the way I feel. That's the way he come off to me to make me feel.
Well, sir, we appreciate you having an opinion, and we appreciate you calling in. That's very nice of you. Obviously, that's a very foolish statement you made, that your feelings are hurt by something I said, and as adults, we learn to work with our feelings and understand the Bible says don't trust them. So if something fell out of line, well, just pray for me, obviously. But the fact that I'm actually marrying a lady of color, that doesn't really hold true with what you're saying. Again, if your feelings were hurt, you know what? That's too bad, sir.
It's okay. Let me jump right in here. Part of the whole process is, and I have got calls off of the air, and I think I said when we started the show, you know, Gabriel comes with a whole set of crayons and pencils and coloring apparatuses different than mine, and what we do here is we allow everybody to have their speech or their conversation. I'm telling you, as Bush said, you know, speechifying. And sometimes when you're speechifying, you may say things that hurt people's feelings. But sometimes I'm gonna be straightforward. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. So I said, you know, when we used to start this show every week, a lot of stuff we say are not politically correct. So stuff you may hear, you know, that may offend you, and I'm not gonna say we're sorry. I'm just saying hopefully you get over it, because sometimes stuff I say, I know it hurts. It hurts some people's feeling, but again, I can't be concerned about it because my job here is to do a good show, provide information, and to help this community out. And I know what I do helps the community
Big time.
because people do call me and tell me. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
All the way down to Sarasota. And I know you get a good signal down to Sarasota because, as I said, you know, a couple weeks ago, I went down to Fort Myers, and I think I heard TMP, you know, all the way down to Fort Myers.
Wow.
So the signal going south is strong. I don't know how far north it goes, but I know it goes south, you know, a pretty good ways. And I've got calls from people down in Manatee County. You know, I got people, you know, calls from down in Bradenton. So again, you know, thank you guys for listening, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, but y'all are welcome to call in. And again, if we say something that hurts your feelings, well, you know, okay, as Eddie just said, sometimes that's going to happen. But as adults, we suck it up and go, is there something there to that maybe? Yeah. And that's for you, you know, you can talk to other people because we want you to talk. We want you to call. We want you to do something in your community to make it change. Eddie, I don't know if this man gets much rest. He's on the go continuously. Almost every day of the week, he's in a meeting somewhere because he so badly wants to see a positive change in the black community. And I know Eddie has gotten some conversations with some people. that don't want to see him. They don't want to hear from him, or they're mad at him for something. But that doesn't stop Eddie. Eddie keeps on going, day in, day out. And we ask the same of all of you. If you're concerned about your community, get up off the couch and go do something about it.
All right, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this fine Saturday afternoon. What say you? Who are you and where you calling from?
Hey, Brother Eddie, this is Brother Jarvis. I'm calling from Tampa. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing excellent job. It's great to see you this morning.
It's always good to see you, man. You know, Eddie Adams Jr., you're the real deal, man. I really appreciate you, honestly, brother. You're a good person. I really like you, too. Look, I'm calling on behalf of playing the NAACP hat today, Empowerment Center. We're going to be doing a how to write a winning resume workshop on Wednesday at 6 p.m. I'll be presenting the workshop on how to write a winning resume.
Awesome.
We want to invite some people that's looking for a job to come out and let me share with them my personal experience. Give us some key elements to how to write a resume. It's going to be a 308.
Excellent. Bring it on. Give us how do we contact you? How do we find you?
Yeah, and my contact number is 813-787-6652. This Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the NAACP office. The Empowerment Center presents how to write a winning resume.
You want to give that address again?
Go ahead.
Get an address again, Jarvis?
The address is 308 East Martin Luther King, NAACP Empowerment Center. And we'll be doing a presentation on how to write a winning resume. This is important, and we're going to talk about some job opportunities, high-paying job opportunities that we got available that came into the NAACP office. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to share those job opportunities as well.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Jarvis.
you.
And we appreciate all that you do for the community and the fact that you're out there and you're constantly, a part of stuff that's happening. My brother, I have the utmost respect for you and the things that you do. So repeat it. So repeat it one more time, Jarvis. Give your number out one more time.
To your calls too, man. Much love to you. And thanks to WTMP for having such a wonderful show. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Now we're going to get into the second part of our show. Now I know a lot of folks don't know this, and every now and then we come up with trivia, but this is not trivia. I want you guys to know there's a national movement that's going, and nationally, part of this whole process is 400 years ago, they started the African slave trade, and the first Africans were auctioned in Jamestown, Virginia. This was August 400 years ago. So matter of fact, it was August
That's before America.
1619 is when they started the slave trade in the United States. So,
Or the continent.
so to say, we come a long way, baby, is an understatement. So some brothers and sisters in Atlanta, Georgia, started something that they call We Buy Black Convention. And it's happening this weekend. Matter of fact, it's happening now. The We Buy Black Convention is from August the 23rd to August the 25th. And it's at the Georgia International Convention Center, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. What they do, they have over 150 black-owned vendors and businesses that have got together. They come together in one location, and they're doing black business. They're buying and selling, everything from soaps to cars. And these are all black-owned businesses. They're all dealing with each other, and they understand something that we've been trying to do here in Tampa. And we're in the process of making this thing happen. We just getting organized. And I told you guys they're gonna take us probably to the end of October to get this Black Index up and running. But this is just a way to do business, with each other, and that's how we prosper. That's how we make this community bigger and better I mean, if it take a place like Atlanta to do a We Buy Black convention, think about what happened if we start buying black every day right here in Tampa, Florida. And I was with one of my good friends this morning, and Jarvis, and a room full of other people, Candy Low, because she has a black business bus tour where they load up a bunch of buses with folks, black and white and Hispanics, and they go to black businesses and they spend money. I mean, that's a novel concept. They've been doing that for a number of years, but it's catching on. They're starting to do that in more and more places throughout the country. But the basic idea is that black folks spend money with black folks, help the black businesses prosper. And if black businesses prosper, the community will prosper. I tell you that, I promise you that, it's just you got to change the way you see things, change the way you do. We have been taught for so long not to trust each other. And I've
Hispanics are the same, buddy.
And
it happens with Hispanics, not just blacks.
Said here on the radio, we are our own worst enemy. We will spend money with everybody but black folks, and we just got to change our train of thought, change the way we think about that whole process, and if we do, the end result will be our own Black Wall Street right here in Tampa. Part of what we're going to do, I'm telling you for our part of it, we're doing the Black Index. And I've heard shows and I've heard people come on and talk about, how do you do it. I mean, there's no set way, even though they're doing something of this nature in a whole bunch of different cities throughout America. I guess it's becoming, this is Black Business Month. Not Black History Month, Black Business Month. And as a part of this, a lot of black entrepreneurs have come up with ideas and strategies of how we invest in each other. And I on my Facebook page, I mean, every week I get posts from people who steal the black first this, the black first that. They got a black Lamborghini, dealership now. I mean, it took a long time for us to get to that point to where we're selling Lamborghini. That don't mean we got that many black folk buying Lamborghinis, but it would be nice to have black folks with the ability to buy Lamborghinis. And a lot of you guys don't even know what the hell a Lamborghini is, but it's a very
It's a sandwich.
It's a very expensive sport car. I think the base car is like $200,000 or $300,000. That's just to get the cheap one. The expensive ones cost millions.
Oh yeah. Big time.
And if you want to get a custom one, tens of millions of dollars. But again, that's people got that kind of money to spend on a car. But the fact that we got the first black thing still happening weekly, daily, in a country that's had 400 years to oppress us, mean the best efforts that have been put to keep our people down have not succeeded. And what I won't do, it's a lot of folks and a lot of shows that will come on here all day, every Saturday, and if you gave them 5 days or 7 days a week, they would be begging for somebody else to do it. I am not that guy. I'm saying all of our wealth and all our prosperity is in our hands. It is something that we can control. It's something that we can make a difference in. And I heard them talking this morning about what's happening at THAP on August the 31st and spend $31. $31 is good, but what I want you to do, I want you to spend $1,000 a year. I want you to figure out how to constantly, over a period of a year, spend at least $1,000 with other black businesses.
But you're not saying additional money. You're saying what they're already doing, just redirect it.
I'm just saying, well, they're spending the money.
It's already happening.
We are a consumer, community. As a community, as communities go, we don't produce anything. We're consumers. So what I'm saying, we got to produce more, sell more, and then reinvest and sell even more. That's my plan. I am not the guy who says, give a man a fish, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and feed him for a day, teach him to fish. I'm saying buy the damn lake. Get enough money.
So you're
buy
thinking
the
out of
lake
the box,
so,
Eddie.
so you can fish anytime you want, and every damn fish in the lake belongs to you.
That's out of the
That's
box.
what,
Eddie.
that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
not the program.
See, I ain't talking about, you know, somebody give you a fish, you know, I'm going beyond teaching you to fish. I'm saying buy the lake. The whole damn lake is yours. Every fish in the lake belong to you, and you can do what the hell you want with it when you want to. That's what we go.
Because you own it.
And that's the way we need to think.
Mhm.
Again,
Big. Big.
our growing got to match our opportunity. And something you may not have known, but if you listen to this show, I told you before, the whole Black Wall Street thing in Tulsa, Oklahoma, only has 600 businesses. We got more than 600 businesses right here in Hillsborough County. Hell, we got 400 churches. And if you don't think a church is a business,
Oh yeah, big time.
talk to any of the administrators in that church. You know, they'll let you know quickly. And look at the money that flows through the black churches in this community.
Oh, a lot of money flows through.
In your community, it don't matter where you at. You know, black churches is a big part of the black community. Now what has happened over the years, they've become less and less part of the black leadership within the community. Because when I was a kid coming up, all the major black leaders were involved with the church in some shape, form, or fashion. I think, you know, some kind of how that IRS thing about, you know, not preaching from the pulpit and all that stuff, even though they still do.
Oh, big time.
You
But
know,
only if it's Democrat.
You know, yeah, you know, but not preaching from the pulpit and taking less and less responsibility for leadership positions and roles.
Responsibility.
I mean, we got some
getting rough now,
black
Eddie.
pastors now in the community that have been leaders, that have run for elected position and got elected and still done what they need to do. But see, part of what we got to do, and if you are a member of a black church, go to your pastor, go to your senior pastors or your major pastors, and have the discussions in your church about how your church supports black businesses, and how you take a small business, adopt it. I mean, have your church parishioners go to a small business on a regular basis. Take your money, target your money. Do like Jews and do like you know Asians. You know, a lot of other people have done this over the years, and they actually target their own people, and that's how they prosper. Okay, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you?
This is Elvis Piggott, Eddie Adams, calling from Tampa, Florida.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
And so I just had to call in because pastoring for 13 years, I just am just to that place where I just want to kill that false narrative of the black church. I hear it so often about how much revenue and all of this that comes in the black church and all of this good stuff. That's good, that's glamorous, but that's not reality. And pastoring 13 years, a church that's very strong, pastoring a church that I would say at sometimes where I preach for thousands and I'll preach for 10. And so, in reality, I think that concept about the church and all of this revenue that comes into the church is a false narrative. It's just not the reality. Yes, you do have churches that's out there that brings in millions and thousands of dollars. Your majority church that's not the narrative for the majority. And I think you have a pastor like me, pastor 13 years in large sectors as well as small, and never took a salary from my church. As I said on the Facebook Live the other day, we need to stop talking about what the church is doing for the community and understand that resources come from community. So if there's no resources, go to a church, and you guys go ride around and visit churches on a Sunday morning. If there's no resources coming into the church, there's nothing the church can do for a community. Let's not keep the bills and the doors open. So let's talk about what Walmart can do for the community. Target, that's where the black community spend their money. Let's stop talking about the church. So let's get the right narrative and bring it to the right perspective, because I personally do more in my church and more in my community than the community or my church do for me or the church, period. So I just wanted to clear that negative, that narrative about the black church got all this and these resources coming in. Ain't that's foolishness. Have a good day, sir.
Well,
All
sir,
right, thank you,
we appreciate your opinion, and obviously the model you're using for running your church isn't really working, and it hasn't worked for many years, and we're sorry to hear that. I have been to my share of churches, small and large, and yes, I do encounter some churches that don't run their books a certain way. I've always been in the larger churches, and they run it like a business, and some people are offended by a church being run like a business, but when they are run properly, they may not have all private jets like you see on TV, obviously, for the pastors, but they run very efficiently. So the money still is out there. Whether your ability to pull it in or maybe your model you're using in your neighborhood or something doesn't work, I think that's just different. I think that's different altogether. Eddie?
Well, let me I know.
I'm not poo-pooing on what he said.
I
I just don't think his model has worked.
I know Pastor. I know Elvis is a good guy.
Yeah.
He's not the one of those who's not trying to be a leader because he's run for political office before.
Awesome. We need more like that.
And he again, the people I'm talking about are the people who've been part of the community. You know, basically the heritage within the community whose grandfather was the pastor of a church and his great-great-grandfather, you know, and those people have been entrenched in those churches, but those churches are their own little separate community. But how do we take those churches and their congregations, whether the church is making, you know, millions and millions of dollars every week, you know, they're making thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, but how do you get your parishioners to think about how do they spend their money with black businesses? How do that money becomes part
That's a different thing, Eddie.
Part of the culture that helps the community grow? Because even if the church itself is not pulling down, you know, millions of dollars every week, the parishioners spend money. They don't spend that money within their own community, and that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that's different then. All right.
And part of the whole process, like I said, I came from a church. I come from a little town in Lake Wales, Florida, and my grandfather was a preacher. And I know, you know, every week when we went by, you know, and I'm not telling churches, don't get mad at me, you know.
That church hating, all right.
You know, but there was always a little table up front. And I was at a Baptist church, and it was called the community chest. You know, and if you put money in the community chest, you know, there's always a church building fund. You know, there's always
and that's
different tables. You know, you pick which table your money went for. But I'm telling you what happened. If your money went to the community chest, if some single female mother had, you know, 5 kids and couldn't pay the light bill, couldn't pay the water bill, you know, couldn't pay her rent, or someone got sick and was at the hospital and they needed flour, that money from the community chest went to help people within the community do well and get by. I mean, your bills, your light bill, your water bill, all that stuff is going to come every month. Every month you're going to have those bills. But what it did was those people who was church members, people who had put in for years and years and years, when something happened to you, the church was a part of your life. I'm not saying, you know, that ain't the way it is at all churches, but I'm just saying it's not many churches where they're gonna pay your bills for you if you can't pay your bills.
Right.
And we got another call.
They'll help you.
So thank you, Elvis, for calling. This is something that every citizen can do. Everybody can support black businesses. Everybody who has a church, your church can target businesses within your community where, just say for instance, restaurants. Some churches have dinner where everybody eats on first Sunday or third Sunday, whatever that may be. But you can also plan as groups within the church to go to a restaurant. You know, churches do go to restaurants as a church group or committee and have, you know, Sunday dinner. I'm just saying there's opportunities. That young man was talking about being a citizen. There's things that you do. How and where you spend your money is important. It is very important that as a community, we understand that we all have a role to play. That role is economic. It is capitalist. How you change. Let me give you an example. If 10 people decided to change their spending habits,
So this is money they're already spending.
money, product, services they're already doing every month, to just change the person you're spending it with. I mean, don't go get bad services. Go to somebody that can do what it is you want to do. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Okay, I was listening. I was on Facebook, and earlier this week, I'm a friend with Candy Lowe. Candy Lowe is a friend of mine.
Good person, very good person.
She was looking for a fish sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of you guys were on the same, post, but she posted, I wanted a fish sandwich. Where can I go buy a fish sandwich? Who got good fish sandwiches in Tampa Bay? Well, about 10 different restaurants showed up. Guess what I did? I wrote the list down, and every day for lunch, for the next week, I started. The first place that they had was the Burger Spot, which is on Tampa Street. Well, I went by the Burger Spot, and had their grilled fish sandwich.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a critic. I'm not going to say good, bad, or indifferent. But the whole idea is now I got a list of places that I can go for at least 10 days to have lunch, because I've got to have lunch somewhere. And traditionally, I eat out for lunch. So I went to the Burger Spot for lunch for the grilled fish sandwich. Now, there's a couple other places on there that I'm going to go to. I'm going to go down the list, all 10 restaurants. Mm-hmm. I will go to for lunch sometime within the next couple of weeks and have lunch. Those are businesses and places that I personally had not been to before. Did not know they were black businesses. Did not, and I'm going to say I didn't tell Candy to do this. These are just people from the community responding to Candy Lowe's request for a good fish sandwich. A couple of weeks ago, I put a request out. On Fridays, my family used to have fish and grits. Well, I was looking for fish and grits on Friday. I can't find any place in Tampa Bay. I'm just saying, this is me. If you know some places, text me, call me, email me, let me know. Some places on Friday night, you can go get fish and grits. It's something we used to do. Something I've been looking for.
Fish and grits.
But I have the money now, so I can actually spend a couple of bucks and and do a good fried brim, a grouper, a perch, a trout, or something like that. I primarily eat freshwater fish. Don't like tilapia. So if it's tilapia,
tilapia's nasty.
I'm telling you, I don't.
It's a nasty fish.
I don't like tilapia.
Nasty.
I used to eat catfish, but now they got a farm-raised catfish, which don't taste the same as if freshwater catfish. Somebody go to the lake with a pole or a reel and catch some freshwater catfish. You got a person. You got somebody who will show up at your place every Friday night for the next year and eat catfish and grits. I'm just saying.
There you go.
I'm a country boy. So, that's how you change somebody's business opportunity. That's how you change somebody's life. So the answer or the response to the Candy Lowe Facebook thing had like 10 restaurants. And over the next 2 weeks, I will go to all those restaurants, if for nothing more than the experience. But I will also know and understand that I'm spending money, with black vendors, black business folks. And so far, the ones that I've seen, the places that I heard, they're black. They don't have to be black, but for this particular, request, a black fish sandwich, fish sandwiches. That's what I'm looking for. Candy was looking for fish sandwiches, so she did me a favor. And that's how Facebook works. It's a bunch of folks out there who having the same thoughts, same ideas, same concept that you got in your head, and you don't say it. So you look on Facebook and somebody else, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Same thing. Well, that's how it works. Mm-hmm. Now you do that times a million, you change lives.
Well, there's people out of town that are visiting. Some of them like to have some good home cooking sometimes, just some good meals.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, that's a small, that's a good business. Small, us folks here at Porch Talk realize that restaurants is only one business black folks have.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of black businesses out there, and that's why we're doing the Black Index. That's why we
How's that coming along?
doing so. Again, when we get 300, we're gonna publish it.
Okay.
So
we need 300 people to
we
call
need
in
300
and get it done.
business, 300
Okay.
businesses.
All right.
Once we get 300 businesses, then we're gonna publish the Black Index.
So if you listen out there and you know a black business, tell them to call in.
That's just the beginning of the
Call
process. That's the beginning of the process. We're gonna have signs for you to put in your window. If you got a business, it's gonna say black business or black business owned, black. We love black business. Whatever we want. So there's somebody who may not have the index handy.
Would politically correct be the minority-owned business?
No, minorities is every damn body. Matter of fact, we had a conversation this morning.
I'm not being racist.
We had a conversation this morning about an executive order, by Jane Castor, they're saying, LBGTQRXP, that's now, it may be a minority, but what I'm saying is when you say minority, it don't mean black. We talking about, here on this radio station, we talking about black business.
All right.
Again, they got a bunch of white males that may be gay, and they qualify, and those
And minority.
They qualify as minority. You got white women that's minority.
But you're targeting.
I'm targeting black folks.
Okay.
Again, I don't have no problem with saying that.
You're not PC, you're not politically correct, Eddie.
Yeah, we're not trying to make everybody's doing well but black folks.
Mm.
How we trying to be politically correct and say, oh yeah, minority? No, the other places may do it. We have no mandate to supply and comfort for all minorities. We concerned about black folks. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead and do the on this day in history.
Oh, great! I thought we were about done. It's time to go, isn't it?
For the day passed,
Eddie.
and we missed it.
Oh,
On this day, August the 24th, 1814, Washington D.C. was invaded by British forces that set fire to the White House and to the Capitol.
It's been burned down a few times.
Well, a lot of you guys remember, you seen history of the Capitol burnt and the White House burnt. Well,
2 or 3 times, I think.
On this day, 1814, the British burnt.
Mm-hmm.
On this day, August 24th, 1932, Amelia Earhart, a lot of you guys have heard of her, became the first woman to fly across the U.S. nonstop. The trip from Los Angeles, California to Newark, New Jersey took about 19 hours. Also on this day, August the 24th, 1968, France became the 5th thermonuclear power when it exploded a hydrogen bomb in the South Pacific. Yeah, that says everything. On this day, August 24th, 1989, the U.S. space probe Voyager 2 sent back photographs from Neptune. So we got that in. They
said that really didn't happen.
Well, they keep saying everything that happens, but
the Earth is flat.
Well, I'm saying like this. There's a lot of stuff you can control. More that you can't. But at the end of the day, how we treat our community, how we can treat our fellow man.
There you go. Bottom line.
How we make things happen here.
Boom.
My goal is within a year, we should create, multiple millionaires just from changing our habit of how we spend our money.
Man, it's not spending you money, just redirecting what you already been doing.
It's the same money. It ain't gonna cost you one dime more to spend
Might
money.
save some.
Spend money with people who look like you than to do to spend that money with other people who have. I'm saying like this: in your community, there's folks who are Arab, there's folks who are Asian, there's folks who are everything. Those folks take the money and they don't spend it and they don't return it to the community. I'm talking about people who are going to return the money to the community because they are part of your community.
Keep it circulating in the community. God bless America real quick.
So, for those who will be with us next week, we love you. We look forward to being here again next week.
We need 300 businesses. Come on, guys.
And as long as we do what we're doing, we're going to do this together. We're in this together. Tampa Bay, we love you. Until next week, Porch Talk Radio and its host. Bye-bye.
God bless.